Okay, all ready to go? All hear all that? All good. Okay, thank you. Well, welcome to the Adelaide Oval here today. Incredibly exciting here at the Oval. We are just 2 weeks out from the start of the 2021 AFL season, and we are absolutely delighted that this year we'll be able to host 40,000 people here at the Oval to watch these two great sides play AFL footy out on the green turf behind me. It is so fabulous for us to be able to know that we can host big crowds here at the Oval once again. We have worked very closely with SA Health, with SAPOL, with both clubs to make sure that we can provide an environment that is fun, easy and safe for people to come back and support their clubs and see them do battle out there on the Adelaide Oval. We will of course have a few additional requirements this year, all of which I think are very logical and I'm sure will be fully followed by all the fans. Firstly, face masks will be a requirement when entering and moving around the stadium. They will not be needed when you are seated in your seat. So once you get to your seat, take off that mask, cheer, sing, always being respectful of course to all those that are around you, but really make yourself heard so that these guys out on the Adelaide Oval can really get the vibe and when they're playing that game. There will be masks being sold by the club, so feel free to wear your club colours, but we are urging people to please remember to bring a mask here to the Oval because it is a requirement. You will also be required to QR code when you're coming in and also QR code on entering any of our internal rooms or bars or function rooms. But we're also used to QR coding these days. I don't think that'll be a problem for anybody. It does provide SA Health with the contact tracing should they require it. We've also had to reseat the stadium to be able to get to 40,000 people, all seated, so there's no general admission. It's all seated in pods of 120 seats. So each pod is separated by 2 rows or an aisle to get some appropriate distancing, but groups of 120. One of the great things that we've been able to achieve is that members of Port and the Crows will actually receive a membership card with their seat number on it for the entire year. Hopefully as close to their normal, if not being actually the same as their normal seat that they would usually sit in. So we don't have to do what we did last year, which is re-ticket on every game. That is fabulous news for members. They'll have their membership pass, they'll be able to QR code, put their face mask on, QR code, have their ticket, go straight to their seat, take their mask off and cheer loudly. We're also making sure that it is as affordable as possible to come to the football this year. So both clubs and the SANFL have held all their membership prices, which is fantastic news. Last year, the Adelaide Oval made significant cuts to across the board at our most popular retail food offerings. You may remember we reduced our beer prices from $9.60 to $8.50. We reduced our pie prices from $5.60 to $4.50. So big price reductions were put in place last year. All of those reductions, every one of them, will be maintained right across the AFL season. So we have worked very hard with health, with the police, with the clubs to make sure it is easy, fun, affordable and safe to come back 40,000 people at the Adelaide Oval this year to see these great clubs in action. We urge all fans, get behind your club, come here, enjoy. We're just about getting back to normal and it's great to have AFL football about to restart here at the Adelaide Oval. I'd now like to ask Ollie or David if I'd like to say a few words as well. Thank you.
Yeah,
happy
we
to
can
take
that,
questions first if you like. Okay. Questions first, no problem. It was a lot of work with SA Health. It's essentially 75% of our seated capacity here at the Oval, plus the corporate seats on top of that. So a lot of work. It has to be safe. They had to be very confident that we could do this safely, that we could handle the flow of crowds throughout the stadium. Hence their request or their requirement that masks are maintained while you are moving around the stadium. But they've been brilliant to deal with. I think they've had a huge task they've had to fulfil for South Australia, and they've done it amazingly. So now it's up to us to make sure that we continue to support SA Health and the whole state by following their directives. Absolutely. First time since 2019 that we've been able to have 40,000 people back. The biggest crowd we had last year was 23,000 at the Port Adelaide final, and that was great. We all remember the noise that was, but we'll be able to take that from 23,000 to 40,000. I can't wait. No, it will feel like normal, feel like the good old days when you are seated in your pod of 120 seats. So you'll be there with your friends, your family, in your group, being able to cheer loudly. The only difference that you will see is that around each pod of 120 there'll be 2 empty rows, and then another pod of 120 and then 2 empty rows. But we've worked very closely with the clubs to try to make sure that we minimise these gaps, use existing spaces in the stadium such as aisles where we can, to make sure that spacing is provided by a natural barrier as well. So the hill we have, SA Health have agreed that we can have standing on the hill. There will be pods of 240 square metres built on the hill. Each one will be able to hold 120 people, all pre-ticketed, all QR coded. But once again, we'll be able to have that amazing feeling of being able to stand on the Northern Mound and watch a game of AFL football. So obviously a much lower number of people up there. It'll be about 1,100 people will fit on the Northern Mound with the appropriate distancing. But that will be great to have that area used again. No, those rows will be empty when we must maintain those gaps as required. And up on the hill, when we construct a pod of 240 square metres, there will then be a 2 metre gap between the next pod. So all of the health requirements are fulfilled the whole time. No, they won't be restricted. We will be asking them to minimise their movement, but clearly they will be needing to go to the bathroom or go and get a drink or something to eat. But they will need to return to their seat to have that drink. There's no vertical drinking outside, so they will need to come back to their seat, exactly as we did during the cricket. People needed to return to their seat to consume. So we're asking people obviously to be very understanding of the circumstances that we're in. It's fabulous that we've got this opportunity to get back to 40,000. So once you get to your seat, minimise your movement, but we're not actually restricting your movement. They will have to go back to their seat unless in certain indoor bars, such as the Bodyline bar or the Phil Ridings bar, that'll be a QR code in, but those are pretty restricted. Most of the bars here at the Adelaide Oval are actually external, so we're asking patrons to obviously go to the bar, buy your drink, and then return to your seat with your friends. I really hope so. We're also looking forward to the fact that the vaccine is here, the jabs will be rolling out across the year. We will always be guided by what SA Health say, and we've worked so closely with them now really for 12 months, and it's been a great relationship. I would love to see it all back. I can't wait. But the fact that we can go to 40,000 is a lot of people, and I think that the confidence that SA Health, SAPOL have in the systems here at the Oval, and also in the way in which South Australians have followed the rules and really supported what they needed to do, has given them the confidence to give us the tick, which is fabulous. Sorry? Well, that would really be from SA Health, their thought that, wow, we are through the pandemic. I think it's once we get back to full capacity, that's really the state being back to normal. I can't wait, but I have no idea how long that will be. Yes, yeah, good point. We certainly do want people to please do get here early, because there is still the normal security checks. We still need to maintain social distancing outside the stadium and in the queuing races. So please do not leave it to the last minute. We do not want to have crushes or big groups at the gates if we can avoid it. We will obviously move people in as fast as we can, but It is also terrific that the government have announced that the Footy Express is back, free public transport, so we'll be trying to coordinate the arrival times of those buses and trams and trains as much as possible to coordinate entry into the stadium to also just help alleviate that problem. I think we're now the cheapest stadium in the nation. And that is so important. We know so many people have done it so tough for the last 12 months. We've done it really tough here. The Adelaide Oval, as you would expect, has taken an enormous financial hit, but we're in very good company with that. So it will take us a long time to get back to where we were, but we know we need to encourage. The single biggest thing we need to do right now is encourage people back to the Oval to cheer on these guys when they're out there playing football. Yes, they will. Those prices are all set. We made that decision mid-last year. We knew that everybody will be going through a recovery phase throughout 2021, and we'll reassess into the future what we're going to do. But at the moment, it's locked in for the rest of the entire football season. It'll feel like normal. Come to the footy, sit in your seat, cheer, sing, and it will be like the good old days, and that's what we want to get back to. It is so exciting to be able to be standing here saying we've got AFL football about to restart with 40,000 people. I have a lot of colleagues, friends who run stadia around the world, and they wish they were in the position that South Australia is in. It's fabulous. It's the greatest state in the world, about to be able to really enjoy life again as we used to. So I can't wait. I can't believe it's on in only 2 weeks.
Nah, not totally. There's some certain AFO protocols we've got to sort of follow, more so at the club. Once we're away from it, it's sort of, we're guided by the government restrictions, so has been a nice change up from last year where we weren't allowed to do too much, and probably played a little bit of a toll on some guys at times, but it's good to be in South Australia where we've got a lot of freedoms. Obviously the Oval and what we can do outside, so we're very lucky. Yeah, it's going to be enormous. As you heard, our final last year was 23,000, and it was probably the loudest game I've ever played in. So we're almost a little bit scared what 40,000 Port Adelaide's fans will sound like. So really excited. They obviously give us an enormous boost. They help with our momentum throughout games. So we're really excited to play in front of them, but we're so excited for them to be able to come back to the footy. Obviously, it's hard to get as many fans in to only 23,000 seats, so to have more seats available just means more people can come along and support their team. Yeah, been a couple of years. So flying at the moment and ready for Sunday and then ready for round one, but we're in a really good spot. We've got a couple more guys coming in this week. Pretty much got a full squad to pick from, so good to be healthy this time of year and taking the momentum into round one. Sorry, mate? Yeah, Robbie and Jonah will come in. I think they were just sort of getting managed last week, so they'll be ready to come in. Yeah, I've learned a lot. My first injury was self-inflicted, just probably doing stuff that I shouldn't be doing, and you learn from that. And then my second one was just going a bit hard. I think I've learned as I get older, you probably don't have to push yourself as hard in pre-season. It goes for a long time, and there's a certain, I guess, momentum you've got to build. So you don't need to be running amok in the first week of January. You want to sort of save that for this week and next week leading into round one. So I've sort of learned to pick my times to really go hard and sort of save that for the real stuff. I think we've relied on each other a lot. Last year we weren't sort of allowed to go to people outside our football bubbles, homes, or socialise with people or go to cafes and things. So I know for me, I lean on the boys a lot. I live alone and spend a lot of time with the boys at their homes because that's all we're allowed to do. So I think we've been able to build that sort of family environment at our club already, and last year was able to sort of boost that even more, and hopefully that can sort of lead into our footy this year. As in, I think so, yeah. I'd like to think so, but at the same time, I think the year Boki came off last year he's probably still the leader. I sort of like to do the hard stuff and the stuff on the ground where he probably creates a lot more on the outside, but I think we've got a lot of guys that can stand up in that role at the moment, and hopefully I can sort of lead that this year. Probably not that I'll let you guys know, but yeah, no, we do set a lot of goals throughout the year, and as a team at the moment, we just want to prepare best we can for round one and build on last year. We probably didn't reach our ultimate goal of winning a grand final, but we have to realise we made a lot of little steps along the way, and I guess many little goals and that you've got to go back and sort of look on and be proud of, but the ultimate goal for us is winning a grand final, and we're yet to achieve that.
Ollie, when there's been some leaders that have moved on from the club, but you're now in your mid-20s, you are still relatively young, but do you feel like an old guy in your squad, an old guy?
Yeah, no, I certainly do. I think I'm probably nearing probably one of the top 10 oldest at 26. So we do have a real wealth of youth at our club and really good talent amongst those guys. And I think the best part of that is a lot of those guys are emerging into good leaders and sort of taking guys along on their back. You look at guys like Zach Butters and Connor Rosie who've already played a lot of football at 19, at 20. So these guys are going to be the future of their club. And at my age, if I can help those guys and lead them along the way at their age, I think we're set for a really good 10 years.
David, can I just ask you a question? There's a couple of key players that are out for you, Italia in particular, around the back line. Do you feel like Port this weekend might just be too big a task for you guys to shut down?
Oh, look, to be honest, we couldn't have asked for a better preparation going into round one. You know, we get to play one of the benchmark teams twice going into that game. So, you know, we respect Port the way they're going about it, and you know, there was a few things last week we didn't get quite right. So we're trying to fix them up and give a better account of ourselves this week. But you know, look, we might have a couple come back this week, depending on whether they pull up well from training with Duday and Crouch, and you know, I'm not sure what level they'll play, but you know, they're not far away. And Talia, yeah, he's progressing really well, trained well today. So no, look, we're a pretty healthy squad. As I said, we're really lucky to play a good side 2 weeks in a row leading into round one. So you know, we'll certainly try and improve our performance this week from last week.
Just quickly, Jake Kelly, he's so rapid and today he was running well at the start. Take the last week to get to chat to him.
No, I haven't spoken to Jake. I suppose we'll just let the dust settle a little bit after training today, and you know, but I don't think it's too much of an issue. But you know, it's probably one for see how he pulls up tomorrow and see what this weekend looks like for him.